Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into the JP Peterson Show. Sorry, taking care of a little business there, getting all our guests lined up because we've got a big show for you today. Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30. I got to say, the Pewter Report has been, as they have been all year, all over obviously the firing of Byron Leftwich. They were the first to have that. And we've been talking about that for, it seems like a couple months now. And also what's going on with Brady. I still think the postmortem of this season is a very, very interesting story. What the hell was going on? The dysfunction that was happening, little drips and drabs are going to kind of come out. And it's going to be interesting to kind of juxtapose that with what we've been talking about all year long, post the Pittsburgh loss, the dysfunction that's going on. This team seems like it's fractured in some way. Are the coaches on the same page as the players? Do the players have confidence in the coaches? Is Brady all in? What the hell's going on with him? I mean, it's when Brady writes the book or does the whatever, highly sponsored 30 for 30 type documentary on this season, I cannot wait to watch it personally because there's just so much intrigue as to going into the season, during the season, everything. And I still think it's compelling conversation right now for all Bucs fans. What the hell happened?
Can we get one more episode on the Man documentary or whatever it was?
Yes, and the Man in the Arena.
The Man in the Arena?
Yes, the Man in this dysfunctional arena.
To hell with the Super Bowl
I got
episode.
the name.
Come on.
I got the name. The Man in the Dysfunctional Arena.
There you go.
There we go. Chapter 2. What was it? Chapter 3. So I still think it's fascinating. And Scott Reynolds is going to join us at 10:30. He chatted with the players on the way out the door this past week, got some real good insight on that. And we'll get his take on where he thinks Brady is going, what Brady is going to do. Brady spoke last night on his well-sponsored podcast. His answer to the direct question of what he's doing was quite interesting. And we're going to play that for you in all its glory. So there's a lot to get to today. Scott Reynolds will join us at 10:30. Also, tonight, the Lightning will host the Minnesota Wild, a team they lost to a couple weeks ago. And it's going to be a hell of a celebration for Stammer's 500s. We didn't get to see it live in Amalie Arena. Close, but no cigar. But we'll chat a little bit about what's going to happen tonight at Amalie Arena, which the Lightning now on a 2-game losing streak coming off the 5-game road trip where they got 6 points. You always want to get one more point in games, right? So, which when you win the first 3 and then the last 2 were not what you would call vintage Lightning performances, I think John Cooper's going to have the boys ready tonight to go back on home ice and get things going. So that's the show for today. Sit back and relax and enjoy. We love your participation on our chat rooms. You can do that at YouTube. You can do that on Facebook, the WATB Sports page. You can go there and comment as well. Always on our social medias at FanStreamJP, at Nick Geddes News, and at the JP Peterson Show. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes. How are you?
Good morning. Just another day of trying to figure out what the Bucs are going to do. And we had another domino fall today, I guess we'll get to that because it segues into our conversation about Brady, is that Bill O'Brien has taken the Patriots offensive coordinator job.
Not a surprise.
Not a surprise at all.
Not a surprise.
But for those who were looking for that to be possibly a rallying cry to get Brady back here, that definitely decreases those chances a little bit.
Not so much. Sorry, I'm having headphone issues. Get everything right here. Yeah, that feels much better. Yeah, and so who's the OC? Who's going to be the OC? And I got to feel like if Brady was coming back, all this stuff would be kind of buttoned up.
This is the first OC hiring, though, of the entire process. And what is there, like 12 teams that are looking for offensive coordinators? Yeah. And there's a lot of talent out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is as deep as an offensive coordinator class that I think I've seen in the NFL.
Right.
Only one team has made a move, and the Bucs have honestly been very tight to their chest on this one.
Yeah. Well, I think, again, if Brady was coming back, I would think that these conversations would have been had, obviously, at some point, right? And then we would have talked about who's going to survive the Black Monday or whatever it was this week, whatever it was when they fired all the coaches. You would think that they would have a better plan in store, have a guy ready to go. And, everybody says, well, they fired this guy. This is to open up the OC. So, Tom Brady knows that, we're serious about getting him back. I think he knows that, right? But, and I mentioned this in my tweet this weekend, Clyde Christensen retired. Okay. Last night on Brady's podcast, he said, I spoke to, my good friend Clyde Christensen this week about how the season went. We're going to play that, right? We got that quote. And basically paraphrasing, like I said, if Clyde Christensen is retiring, I don't think Tom Brady's coming back, because if Tom was coming back, Clyde would want to be there. I don't see why Clyde would retire and miss another season with Tom Brady. That could be, part of an incredible ending to the greatest player to ever play the game's career. Yeah, that's not the way you don't want to. You have a little FOMO there, have a little FOMO. So that was one thing. Sneeze coming. That was one thing that kind of tripped me. Maybe he's not coming back. Now I know Scott Reynolds believes he is coming back, or there's a good chance. And I still think, and I said this yesterday, I still think when Brady looks at everything, and he has not decided yet, I think when he looks at everything, if they can get the OC right, that this situation will be as good as any, unless there's something new and exciting, which is what Gronk said on Fox over the weekend, that he may be looking at. Because Gronk said it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. And I don't know if you would, if I guess you're putting the band back together in Tampa Bay, that's exciting. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Brady's coming back. We got Ryan Jensen. We're going to add a couple pieces. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Or somewhere else that might be a little bit more exciting.
And obviously the offensive coordinator and whatever scheme is coming here is going to be the new thing, the fresh thing, right?
Right.
And I was thinking a little bit last night and this morning on the offensive coordinator hire. Obviously, I mean, we might differ a little bit. I love Todd Monken. I would love to see him here. I know you have questions. I already mentioned if Brady retired, you're probably going in-house or somebody that Bowles has worked around.
It'll be Thad Lewis.
Likely.
Cheapest option.
But,
and an up-and-comer.
But there's a lot of up and comers though that are kind of around there, and like who knew of nobody knew who Mike McDaniel was not that long ago.
True.
And
True.
All these other guys, like even Sean McVay to an extent, until he really got in that chair, unless you were closely following the NFL, you probably don't know who Sean McVay was. I think the Bucs try to get their hands on one of these young up and comers. So I think they have to look that way. And I think that definitely goes to the Brian Johnson, the one with the Eagles.
Well, look at the final four coaches.
Yeah. The passing game coordinator for San Francisco, I believe, whose name escapes me right now. I believe he's a real big up and comer. And I think anybody that's tied to Kyle Shanahan, it's kind of that Sean McVay effect now.
Yep.
So that's a possibility. So I think there's a wide range here. I don't think we have to really box ourselves into getting somebody who's experienced and, like a Todd Monken necessarily, because I think there's a lot of guys who are waiting in the wings, and that's usually worked out really well.
Well, look at the two of the coaches in the Final Four, Zach Taylor and Nick Sirianni. Everybody's looking for that young, that young, energetic guy with some offensive magic to him, and that seems to have played out pretty well. Who knows? Who knows who that up?
Yeah.
It might be Thad Lewis.
Yeah, the one for the 49ers I was talking about is named Bobby Slowick.
Yep, I've heard his name.
He's very young. I think he's like 33 or 34, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's kind of the trend of the NFL right now.
Zach Taylor. And by the way, I really love the way he kind of handled the post game there. If you saw it kind of tongue in cheek about how the Bengals were getting disrespected, and I do think that kind of worked in their favor. You look at his pedigree, Zach Taylor. He was. Wait, is this true? I don't remember. He was a player for the Buccaneers in 2007.
Wasn't he a quarterback? No, he was like a practice squad quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that.
Grew up in Norman, Oklahoma. He signed with Wake Forest, redshirted his first year as a backup from the transfer to Butler Community College in Kansas, leading Butler to the National Junior College Championship game. He had multiple offers, including Memphis and Marshall. Where'd he go? and Nebraska had abandoned their long-standing. Okay, so yeah, now I remember him. Yeah, okay, yeah. He was a backup quarterback, probably just a practice squad guy, and then went to the Dolphins as an assistant quarterbacks coach. Then went to the Rams in 2017, assistant wide receivers coach. Then was the quarterbacks coach in 2018 for the Rams, and then became the Bengals head coach. And they draft Joe Burrow, and the rest is history. Yeah. So I think, all these ownership groups are looking at these templates. Where are these guys coming from? Where are these championship guys coming from? And, I think they're all trying to find the right one. You know what they're not looking for? Old 62-year-old defensive coordinators is what they're not looking for. And that's no slight on Todd Bowles, but it's where the league is going.
Yeah.
And what is working in this league. So let's get into the Tom Brady stuff, because I kind of want to draw a picture here. And listen, folks, I don't have a rooting interest. Well, of course I'd want Tom Brady back. I mean, look, what do we do for a living? We're a sports talk show. All right. Of course we want Tom Brady back. We want him back.
You're trying to tell me that Tom Brady doesn't move the needle more than name
Kyle Trask?
Or did you enjoy doing shows about Josh McCown back at
Not really. No, it's not. Nobody cares. Of course we want him back, but we're trying to paint a picture of what's really going on. Whose feelings are hurt, where Tom's head's at, where the organization's head is at. And is everybody on board with bringing Brady back? I don't think I definitely know that's not the case. And everybody has their opinions, and opinions why. I can tell you what, anybody involved in the business side at Tampa with the Buccaneers.
Who's not on board though? Because if you're like you're about to say, if you're on the business side, 100,000% you want Tom Brady back.
Absolutely.
I've already said that if you're a real Buccaneers fan and that has sat through absolute crap for majority of the franchise's history, and you're finally relevant now, and everybody loves their Sunday night football games, and everybody loves their Monday night football games. You love a packed Raymond James Stadium, right?
Yes.
You love your little cruise nest, the thing that they built there, that added 5. You love all that, right?
Love all of it.
Kiss it all goodbye. Yeah. Whenever you tell me that you don't want
Tom Brady back. Are they taking down the bleachers in the end zone? You
probably need to take down those bleachers.
You might need to.
You probably need to take down those bleachers.
Maybe there's a reason they weren't permanent.
Yeah. Say goodbye to all that. Say goodbye to all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. But at some point,
so who doesn't want him?
At some point, you're going to have to move on.
Yes.
At some point.
But as I've been saying, I'm going
this year or next year. Clearly, he's not going to play another year.
No, but I'm going to keep delaying. I'm going to keep delaying that as far as I can. Of course,
absolutely. I don't know. You think Bruce Arians wants him back?
I don't really care. I don't care what Bruce Arians wants
him
back or not.
I just think, I don't know this for
Bruce Arians is not running this team, and I doubt he's even going to be in this front office this year because he's so pissed off at these firings.
Well, all right. So let's play this little video the Buccaneers put out yesterday. This is I look at things from a standpoint of what is the meaning behind this? These things don't just happen. Somebody, there's not an intern in the basement at One Buck Place going, all right, let me throw this little mic'd up video together and see what it gets on social media. This, if you watch it, and we'll tweet it out if we haven't tweeted it out already. I think I may have retweeted it last night. If you watch it, it's disturbing. It's Tom Brady trying to fire up his troops, and there is literally no one coming along. I mean, no one. Not one person echoing what he's saying. Not one person saying, let's effing go. And in some cases, you have him talking to guys on the sideline, on the bench, and Donovan Smith is just completely ignoring him. If we were in a conversation at a dinner table or at a bar, and I was talking to you, and you were doing this, I would say, wow, that's really rude. Now, I understand it's different on the sideline. Guys are just kind of in their own world. They're trying to focus in on what they got to do. But to not even look at your quarterback, to not even acknowledge him, to not, we're not – you would think somebody would turn around and go, yeah, let's go. But none of that happens. Here's the audio, and it's pretty telling as well.
In the backfield now. They're going to pitch it to Samuel. Right side. Gets the block.
This is a 49ers game.
Samuel is in for the touchdown.
Cutaway shot.
Go, boys. Go answer it now. It's going to be a dogfight.
Effing.
That's why we're here. Let's go, boys. Come on. You want it, you got it. It's right here. You like football, this is where you want to be. guys got it? Gotta go fight. It ain't gonna be any easier all day. Right? Just go slug it out.
4th and 1.
On one-on-one. Ready?
Here's Brady.
This is the play where
Three-man rush this time. Going deep. That's Evans wide open. He's got it. Mike Evans, foot race.
Suck it out.
Right. Penalty.
There's a penalty, though, back at the line of scrimmage.
Go, boys. Come on. We gotta go fight.
Another example of that red zone offense that just can't quite find a way to get it done.
Hey, take this stupid thing off my back.
He's trying to take the mic off.
It's go through there. Just take it out.
You don't want the mic on anymore.
Right, just take it.
Just telling Blaine Gabbert to rip it off. What's your take of that?
It's kind of indicative of what we thought we saw all season long. This team just looked a little bit lifeless, and they looked like they got dejected the second something went wrong in the game. Mm-hmm. And if I'm correct, that moment when that happened, when Mike Evans caught that touchdown, that was reversed because of the penalty. I think it was 7-0. That's all it was.
It would have been 7-7.
Yeah, and that whole like that when you were in the huddle there, and he's like, come on, guys, we got to effing go here. Let's go. Like you're only down 7-0.
And Nick Leverrett's the only one like kind of bouncing his head.
Everybody else is kind of just like I don't know what Julio's doing. Even Chris Godwin's kind of a little bit isolated there. It's just odd.
It's
very
weird,
odd.
Right? In the first 2 years, they put out these videos. Everybody's jumping around, and I know they're winning more, but it's like, why? Like, what is the purpose of this video? They're said this is a team-sponsored website. Mm-hmm. This is the team's website. This is the team that put this together. Somebody, and I'll just, I don't know how the inner workings are, but in television and producing games and things like this, you say, okay, I want to show X. We're doing a story on, how Brady interacts with his teammates. Okay, so give me some mic'd up stuff where he's trying to get him going a little bit. I want to put that out there. Well, but you're also showing that this teammates are not. It was the overwhelming reaction of everybody on social media.
And
I think they're not stupid enough to do this, to not know what the reaction was going to be. In fact, they're very smart at what they do over there. Yeah. They're very smart. They're very good. They're one of the best websites in all of football. They know exactly what they're doing. So why is the team putting out a message that basically shows us that most of the players were tuning out Tom Brady?
Yeah, and it makes Donovan Smith especially look the worst here.
Yes.
Because that shot of him trying to address the guys on the sideline, and Donovan Smith's just doing one of these. He's just off in the distance.
Yeah.
Nothing. He's not paying attention. No eye contact. Nothing right now focused on Tom Brady there. It makes him look really, really bad. And again, I know how video editing works. 2 seconds later, maybe he turns his head and he's nodding along with the rest of the guys. But I saw what I saw.
Why wouldn't you include that?
But I saw what I saw in the video, and that's all I can go off of. And because of Donovan Smith's play this season, personal issues withstanding, whatever, it wasn't good. And when you see videos like this, it makes it look even worse.
Right. So that was very telling. I'm like, there's no way that if you wanted to get Brady back, why would you put that video out? I'm looking for some type of answer here. Like, I don't get that. Is that supposed to make Brady look good? Like, hey, Brady never quit. Maybe that's what they thought. I think they're smarter than that. I give them a lot more credit. I think they're smarter.
It looks like a guy though. Like when we were talking about like everything that went wrong and Brady deserving some of the blame for that, whatever. It comes off as like, hey guys, like no, Tom was trying.
Yeah.
But there's a whole group here of 52 other guys.
Maybe that's what they were
45 whatever on a game day, and look how they're reacting to him. And look at the rest of the team. And then it'd be good when we get to Scott here in a little bit because he said some things yesterday on his podcast about interactions that he had with players after the game. And I'll let him kind of tell it when we get there. But again, it's all illuminating to what happened here, that the mentality of this team was just completely broken.
The first 2 years, Tom Brady was the Pied Piper, man. Everything he did, guys went along. Everybody was on board. I remember mic'd up videos where everybody's hype and let's go. And that seemed completely out of place. And if they were going for, hey, Tom never quit, okay, you got that. But you also got everybody else quit on Tom. So it was, and again, I think they're smarter than that. I think they know exactly what that video was going to show and how it was going to be perceived. And I'm wondering, why are they putting that message out? Very strange on the same day, the Dallas Cowboys on their website. Let me read it to you guys. I was like, is this a joke? This must be some type of joke, right? So this is on their own website. They, you put out like a story, and then you have a little caption above it, right? So from the Dallas Cowboys official website, Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in a narrow loss to the 49ers in a matchup the Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds. What? This is the team website smashing their $40 million a year quarterback. What in the most bizarre world what is that? What are you doing?
Well, let me tell you right now.
These things, this is not some intern in the bottom of the basement writing this.
Especially
this is cleared by the PR directors and Jerry Jones.
I was going to say,
yes.
Jerry Jones is the one writing all that. Writing that
and he's like, is this, y'all told me I had to pay him $240 million, and this is what I get. I'm sick, Seriously, it's like, is that the message he's putting out? What are the website's gone wild yesterday?
I do like this one.
What the actual hell is going on?
You can reach over here to my computer. Look at this. I like this response. Y'all gave this man the password.
That was Stephen A.
With
Smith.
Stephen A. Smith with the cowboy hat and the cigar on him from Monday's show.
Yep, maybe that's what happened. Gerald McCoy said, y'all bogus as heck for this, man. Dude gave his all and just want to win. Singling him out is some BS. He your starting quarterback. I don't care what your protocol or whatever you want to call it is. You don't do this to your players ever. The world can bash him. You don't protect your players. Yeah.
True.
Listen, this is team websites are what they are. All right. You're going to get, and the Bucs team website, I think, is fantastic. And they're, even somewhat critical when they need to be. I think they, of course, that's not where you want to go for all your critiques and your, real hard questions, obviously, but that's their job. They are cheerleaders, and they're extremely talented. They're very informational. The access that they get and they put up on their website is nothing short of phenomenal. Now, you're not going to get critical conversation. Of course, that's not their job. It's like Gerald McCoy said, this is your team, and the players know that. So if their team website is putting out critical things like this, they got to wonder, what the hell's going on in their own organization. So that's just part of the deal. But, for teams to put out things like this, there's a message. There's definitely a message going out. I don't think it's proactive in any way, but there's definitely a message. So as we say, this is like a game of Clue, right? We're going to pick up every little morsel until we have, Tom Brady in the conservatory.
I feel like I lived this last year, did I not? We lived this for 40 days.
Damn right. And the numbers were great. So shut up. But, the longer it goes, the worse it is for the Buccaneers in terms of their planning and operations. So that's not good. But Tom is under no, I shouldn't say obligation. I think you are obligated to the organization that has done so much for you and given you everything you've asked for, just about, to do this in a quick manner. You don't have to tell us tomorrow.
I think Tom Brady's earned whenever Tom Brady wants to give his answer.
If he drags this out though into June,
He's not dragging this out into June. I mean,
I'll give you
the date right here, March 15th.
Yeah.
He's got till March 14th. Okay. He's got till March 14th.
That's too long.
How many days is that?
That's too long.
It's about 50-something days, maybe.
Yeah, it's too long.
A bit less.
We got to know in a month.
If Tom Brady breaks this news while I'm on my honeymoon, I'm gonna be a little upset because that's my honeymoon period right there.
Listen, I think he'll probably make a decision probably in the next couple weeks. But again, he's got to wait to see how everything shakes out, right? What quarterbacks are going where? Who's looking for a quarterback? Which offensive coordinators are going where? And that he may be manipulating that as he speaks. I would think he would be. If he's going to go to a certain place, he's going to want certain things in place to go there, because as we have discussed many, many times, everything has to be in place for Tom for it to work. All right, let's get to the podcast from last night. You got the money quote that we can start with? So this is from Let's Go, his well-sponsored podcast, sponsored by Hertz and everybody else. Make sure we get it in there. So courtesy of the Let's Go podcast. So here's Tommy and Jim Gray last night.
Tom, you're leaving everybody guessing. You said you'll take your time. Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching.
It's only the question that everybody wants to hear.
You're scratchy. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
That's it. That's all we got.
What is your scratchy?
That must be their pet word. Well, I guess that's his nickname because his production company is called Scratchy Productions. I guess that must be his nickname.
Well, there you go.
So maybe his voice is scratchy. I don't know, but evidently that's his nickname. So, all right. We have a couple other elements in there that you wanted to get in. I listened to the whole thing last night. There wasn't any smoking guns or. But I think it was interesting, some of the discussion about the season and how he looks at it.
I think the season, when you get reminded of it by people or friends or teammates, I was talking with Clyde Christensen, who's a great friend of mine this week, and Blaine Gabbert, and we were just talking about the season. I think it was probably Thursday, and you do think about it, because you wanted it to be different. And when I look at our season, we didn't earn it. We just didn't earn it for a number of different reasons, and everyone's got different opinions, and there's different learnings for everyone, whether you're a first-year player, a 23rd-year player, whether you're an older coach or a younger coach. Hopefully you always take something out of it. If you didn't, you would always end up in the same place, and no one wants to end up in the same place. Everyone wants to continue to achieve, to improve and get better.
We didn't earn it. And remember, he also famously said our game day effort is embarrassing. So I think you're starting to get a feel of the way he perceived this football team.
And Todd Bowles also said this comment doesn't get as much play as the Tom Brady effort one. But remember when Todd Bowles, and I can't remember when it was, is we might have some guys who are living off.
I was like
living off the Super Bowl. That was like week 4, week 5, week 6.
Yeah.
It was in that stretch somewhere.
Yeah.
And that play didn't get much play as Brady's did, but I think that one was still as significant.
Absolutely. I mean, both of those comments speak volumes as to what's going on within the team.
Because a lot of people go like, how does a culture like erode, this close away from a Super Bowl is the big question.
Great question.
But, and you could speak to this more than I can. What happened to the Bucs culture the first time around when they won a Super Bowl? Came crumbling down pretty quickly, no?
Yes, it did.
It can happen. The Rams were all buttoned up. The Rams had a lot of injuries, don't get me wrong. But were they as buttoned up this year as they were last year?
Oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
So for everybody to think that, there's no way a culture can just erode, and no, it can.
Yeah.
It can.
I think they did a hell of a job winning 13 games last year. I mean, that was, 14 games with the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. That was anytime you come back the next year in the NFL, because hunger and desire are a powerful motivator. And once you have the bite of the apple and the whole apple, it's hard to get motivated again. Look at the Rams. Look at teams and how they follow up their championships, especially in football, because there's so much turnover on your roster. Typically, you're going to lose at least a third of your guys. Yeah. There's coaching turnover. There's injuries. I mean, from year to year, things are so different. That's why it's so freaking hard to consistently win, which is why Brady's and the Patriots run is so dynastic run is so incredible. In the NFL, they set you up to fail when you win. Everything is against you. You get the harder schedule. You get a crappy draft pick. You can't do waivers. Everything is against you. And there's a salary cap. It's very difficult to stay on top. And the Bucs did it for 2 years in a row. But I thought you saw some erosion of the culture a little bit last year. And then this year, with the way Brady handled everything coming into the season, with trying to go to Miami, which of course everybody knew when the investigation came out, then his quote retirement, which wasn't really, in my mind, a scheme. So all of that plays into it. And I think, to some, you could see people tuning Brady out.
And also, too, let's be real. They added a lot of, the team from 2020 to 2021 was nearly identical, no? Right?
Yeah,
I think I heard yesterday they added 18 new players to the team this year.
But the core was almost all.
The core
intact.
was almost here, but the point is, it's still a different team.
Yeah,
it's still a lot different team when you add.
And then we find out that during the offseason, AB was going back to being AB. His shenanigans started in the offseason, And so then, you have a head coach who didn't want him there in the first place, and he's acting up. And all through the season, he was acting up. And that what you saw in the Jets game was just a culmination of a season-long crap fest with him. So that starts to erode your culture. Guys start looking at their contracts. And then I told you about this game right here coming off the field. I saw way too many guys just laughing, maybe not laughing, but smiling, talking to their buddy.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Not with their heads down, crushed, end of the season, maybe the last game of Tom Brady. You didn't get that feeling at all watching some of those guys. It was a minority of players, okay? I'm not going to say every guy, but I would say of the guys that I saw walk off, I'd say there was probably 5 to 6 of them that were just kind of.
Would you rather have a locker room?
No big deal.
Would you prefer to have a locker room that's just completely dead after that, or one that's still together, lively, whatever?
It's the end of the season, and Tom Brady may have played his last game, and you just got your ass handed to you on national television. You were embarrassed. You couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed defensively. You couldn't. And you got your man. I mean, you don't walk up. You walk up. You're walking off that field, bopping around. That's not my kind of football player. I want you to care more. I want you to care. Maybe that's fan, and that's not even fandom. I've covered this league for a long time. I've seen guys like that, and most of them, 99% of them, are not good players. They're not good players. They don't last long in the league, and they don't take football seriously enough. Tom Brady didn't walk off like that. I can tell you that. I can tell you a bunch of guys that were pissed off, really pissed off. And yeah, it's not, this culture was completely broken this year, completely dysfunctional. All right. Get a couple more in here, and let's go ahead and take a break. I'll take a break because Scott Reynolds is coming on next. Quick break. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Had Chris Lugo on yesterday talking about the injuries, and we got to get into that. Pat Mahomes and his high ankle sprain. I think people are not putting as much on this as perhaps they should. Also, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jeeveslawgroup.com and contact them. Aggressive attorneys. Back in 3 with Scott Reynolds. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to jeeveslawgroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? So you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, the Jeeves Law Group, and the Golden Diamond Source. They have a lot of great stuff on sale right now. In January, garnet is the birthstone month, so get something for your favorite Seminole, garnet and gold, over there at the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, we'll welcome in our good friend Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. It was obviously all over the Byron Leftwich firing, and now we move on to what is Brady going to do. Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Can't complain about the offense going in a different direction right after 18 points per game. I don't say it can't get any worse, because it can, but let's hope it doesn't. I'm a defensive minded guy, not a big fan of offense, but I prefer points as opposed to fewer points. So more points is better. And I'm curious to see which direction they're going to go here.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien obviously now has been snatched up by the Patriots.
Yeah,
it's not a big surprise, and maybe he's in line as the heir apparent once Belichick breaks the record there. So, what is that? Todd Monken is somebody that you know. Has he been contacted by the Buccaneers? And my big question is, why would he want to leave that cushy job for to come down here with a what is perceived as a lame duck coach in Todd Bowles?
Well, I think for a couple of reasons. Just hypothetically, I don't know if Todd Bowles has talked to the Buccaneers yet. He had not as of Saturday, but
Todd Monken.
I'm sorry, yes, Todd Monken. Todd Monken. But I will say that he's getting paid $2 million a year, highest paid assistant in college football. Did the Blazers want to spend that much on an offensive coordinator? I don't know. And if they do, then it's probably going to have to be at least $2 million, if not more. I think for Monken, he's been there for 3 years. He's won back-to-back national championships. He's won, he's been in the Art Briles assistant coach, conversation for national assistant coach of the year. He developed a Heisman caliber type quarterback, didn't win it, but in Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else he has left to accomplish at Georgia. That's the only thing. I think if you're looking for a time to break away, this might be the time. So we'll see.
Would you want to parlay that into a head coaching job, either in college or the pros? Would an NFL team hire him as a head coach? It seems like a bit of a stretch, but he's been an NFL assistant.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a top college assistant. So you're looking for somebody to bring that wide open,
Sure.
college game to your team. Why
Well,
not?
and see, to me, if I'm Todd Monken, and again, you mentioned the potential lame duck situation here with Todd Bowles, and I think that's appropriate. If Todd Bowles doesn't win the NFC South title, or have a better record, like let's say the Buccaneers go 10-7 next year, and just for whatever reason, the NFC, there's some powerhouses there. I don't foresee it, but let's say the Buccaneers just missed the playoffs. Hard to fire him at 10-7, right?
Absolutely.
Raheem Morris had a 10-6 season there, and just missed the playoffs back in 2010. So, but the thing is, if you're Monken and you see what maybe Jason Light and the Glazers have done before, where you bring in an offensive guy in Dirk Cutter with Lovie Smith, Lovie Smith's defense was obviously the culprit there, as well as the head coaching. And then Jameis Winston has a promising rookie season. Doug Martin at that time was a Pro Bowl running back, 1,400-yard season. They just kind of moved on from Lovey and promoted Dirk. And I'm not saying that could or would happen again. I mean, it could happen. But if I'm Todd Monken, I'm looking at the situation saying, okay, so maybe if I do a good job and get the offense going and humming, and the team kind of doesn't really respond otherwise, maybe Todd Bowles is out for 2 years and I'm promoted like Dirk Cutter was. Maybe that's the situation. So you have to look at these opportunities from a very opportunistic standpoint. And and at the same time, there's some prestige in being in the NFL. Monken was in college before. He was the head coach at Southern Miss, and then had several years in the NFL, 3 with the Buccaneers, 1 with the Browns. And I think he probably would aspire to want to get back, or if there's a head coaching job in college. But, I don't know. I don't see any openings that where he's interviewing for, and I'm not sure if there's any openings left anymore.
I think Bethune-Cookman has one, but I don't think he's quite interested in that one right now.
Right, exactly.
That mess over there. And I did not know Reggie Theus was running the things over there. That's interesting. So let's move on to Brady, and I've kind of said this is like a game of Clue, right? We're trying to find Tom Brady and
it's a puzzle
with the candlestick, right? We're gonna every little morsel we're picking up to see if Brady's coming back. What did you make of his? If I effing knew, I'd effing tell you on his podcast last night. From when I asked,
I think it was a little bit of theater. I think that was, I think Brady's a showman.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer. He understands the game, and so I think he's kind of trolling the media too, because obviously everybody wants to know. Yeah. And I think he was just putting an exclamation point on the fact that, hey, the season just ended. I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do. I need to decompress a little bit. So I think that was his way of kind of, giving a little bit of a smiling middle finger to the media. But
that's what he wanted to say at the podium last week.
Yes, exactly.
But he really couldn't say it.
Right. He's going to save the good stuff for the Let's Go podcast. I mean, come on, that's his baby. Yeah. But I'll say this: it's I can see the dynamic happening here, right? Todd Bowles and Jason Light, they're on a speakerphone with an offensive coordinator candidate, and the coordinator candidate says, "Who's the quarterback? Hang on one second. Hey, Tom, we've got so and so on the line. What do you think of this guy? Okay, hang on. We might have Tom back. We talked to Tom, and he's kind of interested, but he's not sure what he wants to do yet. Hang on one second. Tom, so he wants to know. Oh, hold on. Tom says that he's not quite ready to say yet. Hang on. Let's get another call coming in. Hang on. Yes, we'd like to interview you as well. Yes, thanks for the interest in the vacant offensive coordinator job. Not sure about Tom yet. Hang on one second. Exactly. Hey, Tom, we've got so-and-so on the line here. Would you like to play for him? It's a difficult conundrum. It really is, because the offensive coordinator wants to know, am I going to be coaching Tom Brady or Kyle Trask, or what's behind door number 3? And Tom wants to know, hey, I'll come back. Who's going to be calling the plays, right? So
that's why I think it's so hard to get one, because right now you're looking at the Bucs situation from the outside in. You're going, okay, it may be a lame duck coach. I don't know who the quarterback is. I don't know if they're going into full rebuild mode.
Right.
There's a lot of things I don't know, and nobody really knows until Tom decides, because
correct.
At least in my mind, and I think in yours as well, everybody on the business side at Tampa Bay Buccaneers wants Tom Brady back. And I
no
think
doubt.
universally everybody wants Tom Brady back for a lot of reasons.
Especially the people in the ticket office who had to sell those 2-year ticket packages, right?
The 5-year luxury boxes, yes.
Because those people are going to be saying, well, hey, Tom Brady's not my quarterback here, and you all suckered me into 2 years of these tickets. I don't want the second year. And then the Bucs have to say, sorry, sir, you're committed. Did you read the contract? You signed up.
Make that commitment during the season and not
That's
after
right.
the season, right.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Not dumb. So where do you think it stands right now? My position is I think the crumbs have led me down the trail that he is not coming back, but I also feel like he has not decided yet.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have all the information. All the shoes have not dropped yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he still needs the essential information to find out where he's going. So, and I think that once he does look at the entire landscape, Tampa Bay is going to look as good as any spot from what we know. Now, there may be things that went on during the season, with certain players or whatever, that we don't know, but that's where I'm at right now. Where are you at?
I think the firing of Byron Leftwich helps the chances of Tom Brady coming back to the Bucs. It just does. He doesn't want to come back to that again in 2024 or 2023. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But the thing is he's going to have to learn a new offense wherever he goes. He's going to have a new offensive coordinator wherever he goes. But does he want to have Ryan Jensen snap the ball to him? Does he want to throw to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans again? Does he want to hand off to Rachaad White and maybe, have Tristan Wirfs block for him? So this is what he knows. He also knows that this organization has been really, really good to him.
Yeah.
I mean, they stood by him last year in a very public, painful divorce during the season. And, and I don't think that that's lost on him. Tom's a sentimental guy, He really is. He's a good dude. I don't know him other than just the 8 minutes we get once a week at the press conferences. But he just seems like kind of a good dude. He cares. He cares. And I think that this organization cared for him in his darkest time.
Yep.
And you need time off, Tom. Like, no bones about it. We'll work Gabbert and Trask in the running game. And you handle your business. You want to go see Jack up in New York and go to Mr. Kraft's wedding? We'll see you in Pittsburgh. I mean, that stuff matters to Tom. It really does, I think. And so I'm not saying he's going to come back here lockstep, but this year, some of those deposits in the love bank, right? They added up, I think, for the Buccaneers. He's got the strong relationship with Joel Glazer. He's got the strong relationship with Jason Light. I think he really enjoys playing for Todd Bowles. He and Bowles are in lockstep. The Bucs have to run the ball better. Tom does not want to throw the ball 66 times. You go back and look at the Patriots. Half of his Super Bowls, the Patriots had a top 10 running game, right? And he didn't have he had the one crazy season with Randy Moss where he threw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Tom Brady doesn't really throw more than 30 touchdowns a season. And that's by design because the offense with the running game functioned well enough to where it provided some balance. And I think right now at 46, Tom's going to be 46 this year, he's going to want some friggin' balance, man. He doesn't want to throw the ball for 350, 400 yards a game.
I agree with that, but when you have a running game that's that freaking bad, I also believe that when he sees 3 or 4 running plays go for -3 yards, and he's 2nd and 13, he's like, I don't want to. Why are we running the football? In the heat of the battle, I think he's making checks at the line where he certainly did a couple times in the red zone. He made checks to pass plays that didn't work out so well. So I think he had a lot of say in what was going on, but it was dysfunctional. And this is what I want to get from you, because I've heard you talk about this on your podcast. Leftwich and Bowles were in this struggle the whole time.
Yes.
And Brady's kind of in the middle of it, and it was dysfunctional. I don't understand how Leftwich basically disobeyed the head coach and stayed employed. And I know you've said that they wanted to fire him earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Why?
There wasn't a candidate on the staff.
Clyde couldn't have done it.
Clyde was going to get fired. I mean, he retired because he didn't want to get fired. but I mean, he was part of the problem. So yeah, I mean,
but he's good. He's Brady's good friend. Brady talked to him this week. He said on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you're, you can be friends with somebody, but you don't want to work with them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Seriously, it's like I've got some good friends that I wouldn't want to work with. I mean, I got some goofball friends that I take my job seriously and I like having fun with you, but I don't want to work with you. So, and I don't think there's anything against. I think Clyde is a good offensive, or I should say, I think Clyde's a good quarterbacks coach, play caller. Listen, if Todd Bowles thought that the Clyde Christensen could make a difference, he would have made the switch because the organization gave him the green light 2 times after the Ravens game and then during the bye week. And Bowles made a calculated gamble. I'm going to trust my quarterback and my defense, and we're going to win the NFC South title. And it worked. Didn't work as well as everybody wanted it to, but it worked.
It didn't work. The offense was abysmal.
It wasn't going to get any better. And listen, during the season, all you can do is do some play sequencing things. You can install a couple plays. Your playbook is installed in the off season, in training camp, and you can't bring in new plays in a new playbook and make dramatic changes in the regular season.
Yeah, and I think like a big problem is I don't know if this team suffered from a lack of belief on offense, but obviously we spent a good time talking about that video that came out yesterday. I know y'all did yesterday on Pewter Report as well.
That was bizarre.
And I think it was 7-0 when they had the play to Mike Evans, and it seemed like everything just shut down.
Yeah.
Even before that, it had shut down, and then after that play, it really shut down. You got Donovan Smith, looking into the clouds when Brady. I mean, what was kind of your takeaway from that whole deal?
And why did the Bucs put that out? What was their intention with that?
I don't know. Maybe to show Tom Brady's fire and vigor. I don't know. But the thing is, Donovan Smith looked very disinterested. Donovan Smith looked very disinterested during the season. I mean, not just in that clip. Yeah.
Across from Bosa.
Yeah. And I mean, I like Donovan as a person. I'm not attacking him. And I would love to see the 2021 Donovan return next year. The problem for the Buccaneers, and we talk about the dominoes, right? Which ones are going to fall? Brady's a big one. Offensive coordinator's a big one. Those are almost like dominoes like this, where one of them's got to fall, but they're both kind of propped up against each other. And, they almost have to happen kind of consecutively. And then Levante David coming back is a huge domino because I don't know about you, the linebackers in this team behind those, JJ Russell was awful. KJ Britt is a special teamer only. I do not see the appeal in KJ Britt playing defense. If Levante David leaves, linebacker might become the top priority in this team because you have to have 2 good linebackers, Devin White, and then that's a huge hole next to Devin. And then really that third spot is Donovan Smith, right? Donovan Smith had a horrible year, 12 penalties, 6 sacks allowed. His worst season, even including his rookie season. This was his worst season. And he's going to be 30 this year. He's going to be in a contract year. Can you trust Donovan Smith? It wasn't, he had a bad game here. He had a bad season.
Yeah.
And that's a very important piece, right? That's Tom Brady's blindside protector. And if you make a move there, you can save almost $10 million in cap room because it's his final year of his deal. That might be enticing because this is a team now that is cap strapped, right? You might need that 10 million, even though you're causing a problem to try to fix a problem, right? Because now you got to plug a hole. You got to find a starting caliber left tackle either in the draft or in free agency. But you might be able to save 10 million, and I just don't know if this team can trust Donovan Smith after last year,
And back to the video, what did you perceive that as?
Donovan or Brady?
The entire video. Like what was the intent of putting that out? What did you, when you watched it, what did you, I mean, I saw guys that were completely disinterested in what the quarterback was saying. They were, borderline just tuning him out. Nobody was coming with him on the rah-rah.
Yeah, that's what they missed. They missed Ryan Jensen. That was my takeaway. Was you need a hype man, right? And it's funny because Rondé Barber always told me he hated being the team captain. He wanted to be Brooks's lieutenant.
Right.
He wanted to be Sapp's lieutenant and Lynch's lieutenant. He wanted to be the guy that said, yeah, what he said.
Yeah.
What he said.
Go do it.
Then go do it. Right. And that's where Jensen and Brady are like this. Tom says it, and Jensen's like F yeah, we're gonna do it. Yeah. You know, then he get
nobody. Just everybody's like, whatever, Tom. I thought it was a terrible look. I don't know why the team would put that out. It's very much like what the Cowboys put out yesterday.
Right, about Dak Prescott. Yeah.
Look good. I don't know what their intention was, and they're very smart at what they do with Buccaneers website. They don't do these things willy-nilly. They had to understand that was going to be perceived by many people as negative. Like the players, Tom was trying hard, but the rest of these guys weren't buying it.
I tell you what, listen, we wrote a story about it. It's caused quite a bit of a firestorm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even saying that, about Todd Bowles saying that the culture needs to be changed. I get fans up in arms saying, what are you talking about? It needs to be changed. This is a Super Bowl coaching staff with a Super Bowl roster. And it's like Todd Bowles tried to tell you folks halfway through the season, Super Bowl's over. That was a couple years ago.
Bingo.
Okay. There were 18 new players on that team that were not on the playoff team last year. 18. That's 34% of your roster. Guess what? There's going to be another 15. So that means half the roster in 2023 will have not been on the 13-4 season, much less the Super Bowl season.
Right.
Your culture does change every year. Your team chemistry, your camaraderie changes every year. It does. Now, sometimes there's an illusion, right? Because you see some of these coaches, whether it's Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, never had a losing season. Jim Harbaugh seems to work wonders at Baltimore. Andy Reid in Kansas City. Obviously, Bill Belichick used to have the Patriot way. Now they've had a couple losing seasons, so that's kind of like, rubbing off. But a lot of people are just upset about Todd Bowles saying that, and it's like, no. We have good culture here. It's like, no, they're 8-9, man. Like, it's not good enough.
That's why the video was put out.
Probably
said it, and that proved it.
Probably, yes. Yeah, probably.
And so now they're saying we got to change our culture. Does that mean, that means Tom's here, or does it mean it's time for total rebuild? And I want to get your thoughts on this because I heard you talk about this as well. By the way, go listen to Scott's podcast, Computer Report. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Every week to all of them. What does the rebuild look like? And if Tom Brady doesn't
scary.
come back,
scary.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You're Jason Light.
Yeah.
What do you do besides take another job? What?
Yeah.
You take the next.
You go to church.
Yeah.
JP, you go to church every Sunday is what you do. You pray.
I see. My take is you pour, if you're the cap guy, you pour everything into this year that you can pour.
Yeah, you pay the credit card bill. That's what you do.
And this is going to be unpopular. But every decision you make has to be 2 years at least down the line. Like, what is this guy going to give me in 2 years?
Yep.
And then 3 and 4 is when you might challenge. So, as much as we hate to say it, guys like Mike Evans, if you can get a 1 for him or 1 or a 2, you got. I would trade him. If for Mike, number one, you don't want to stick around for this, Mike. Trust me, you're too.
Yeah.
Good. I would trade Mike if I could get something for Ryan Jensen. I would trade Ryan Jensen. I would get as many assets as I can.
I think Mike's untouchable. I don't think that the Blazers would do that. Mike is a lifer. He is a Bucks Ring of Honor guy.
Would he want to go through this? When he could go to a team that's going to
challenge. Well, I think he's
that many left.
He's got 1 or 2 years left in his deal. He's approaching the end of his contract.
Yes. Yeah.
So I almost think that maybe
someplace else.
If you look at it that way, where he has 1 year left, and I got to check his deal because he's not a free agent this year, then maybe you entertain that. But that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. Mike. As much as I love Mike Allstott, Mike Evans is the greatest offensive Buccaneer in franchise history. He just is.
No question.
And
a great core leader and a great locker room guy. And if you want to rebuild your culture, you rebuild it around him.
He's got 1 year left on the deal.
Yeah. But if you can get a 1 for him, every asset that you can get, good young players who are cheap on their rookie deals, I gotta, this is business. I gotta get as many assets as I can. That would be my play.
Yeah. it's going to be real simple. If Tom Brady comes back, they're reloading. If he doesn't, they're going to be rebuilding. And the funny thing is again, there's a lot of people that are really up in arms about Todd Bowles. They want him fired. And what I said on the podcast yesterday was, listen, one of two things is going to happen. Either Brady returns, they have a little bit of a rebound. Maybe they win 10 games next year. They still win the division. They're in the playoffs. They still got a shot.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be in rebuild mode this year. It's not going to end well. Bowles is going to get fired anyway, so you're going to get your wish, and then you're going to have a top 10 draft pick in 2024.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, it's going to work out for Buccaneer fans. It's either they're going to get better and they're going to show some improvement, and they're going to kind of build, and hopefully they can, whether I don't think it's Trask, but get another quarterback, in the pipeline, or at least hedge their bets to where they've got a little bit more of a brighter future at the position after Brady, or it's just going to be, back to, oh no, we suck again, And
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I have lived through, and you've lived through even longer than I have, to see the quarterbacks that this team has tried to put.
Thank you, young whippersnapper. I appreciate that.
And drafted, I'll just speak, I went through 5 years of Jameis Winston, and you had to, you said, it's going to work out for Buccaneers fans. I don't know if it is, because
no, it's going to work out for the fire of the Todd Bowles crowd. You're going to get what you wanted.
Yeah. Sure. Right? I keep saying, I'm like, regardless of Tom Brady, the age, the other factors, you have to just, in my opinion, keep putting everything down the line. You're relevant now.
Yes.
If he'll come back, sure.
There's no, in my opinion, going down that rabbit hole again and saying, oh, we're going to get that number one pick again, because we just saw it with Jameis Winston. Yeah. Other older Bucs fans saw it with Vinny Testaverde and all these other people.
Sure.
It never has worked out here.
It's never worked out. No. And since I've been here, Trent Dilfer, Casey Weldon, I think he was a late round draft pick, right? Casey Weldon, so he's in the mix. Yeah. Then you had Sean King, second round pick. Yeah. Chris Sims, third round pick. Josh Freeman, Mike Glennon, Jameis Winston. So every quarterback they've spent a premium pick on, first round, second round, third round, has never panned out. The quarterbacks that have, Brad Johnson, Brian Griese, Jeff Garcia, Tom Brady, those are the guys that they've won division titles with and or Super Bowls with. They're all free agents. And if I'm Todd Bowles, and I've had the Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he got me my most wins because he was a veteran. And then I drafted Sam Darnold, and he got me fired because he was a rookie up in New York. Rookie quarterbacks are coach killers. Jameis Winston killed two of them here. Killed Lovie Smith and Dirk Cutter. Okay? Murder. And that's the thing. If you find a Burrow, or if you find a Mahomes, if you find a Herbert, you've won the lottery. If you find a Lamar Jackson. But how about all the other quarterbacks, the Mariotas, the Winstons, the guys that just don't pan out? They're coach killers. They're GM killers. And if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm looking at Jason Light saying, Jason, let's be real. All right. I know you came in with Lovey, but he was a coach you worked with. Then you replaced him with Dirk. Then you replaced him with Bruce. Now you're on your fourth head coach. Show me the general manager out there that gets 5 head coaches. Show me him.
Doesn't happen.
Jason, you and I are in this together. We are in survival mode. We're in the life raft. We are drifting away at sea. We have to survive. So
what's the shelf life on a Super Bowl? If you build a Super Bowl team, it's got to be at least 5 years, doesn't it? 3 years, 5 years, for
Gruden, it was 6. So just saying,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but I will say this: if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm looking at strengthening my defense and making sure I've got that's the strength of my team, and I'm trying to find maybe a Jacoby Brissett, somebody who's not going to make stupid interceptions and get me killed, and we're going to ramp up the offensive line and the ground game, and we may not be the most explosive offense in the league, but we're not going to go with the rookie quarterback who's going to throw 25 interceptions and get me fired.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. This team needs more speed, though. Just in a nutshell, on offense and defense, it needs more speed. It just does.
And that's
a slow team.
Draft picks. All right, my friend. Great stuff as always. Tell folks how they can get your podcast and all the great content at Pewter Report.
Yeah, we got another podcast coming up today at 4:00 Eastern time. That's on our YouTube channel. Just hit 10,000 subscribers. So join the fun. We're at Pewter Report TV on YouTube. Pewter Report TV. We have podcasts. Our off-season schedule is Monday and Tuesdays at 4:00, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays at 7:00. We go prime time. And we're going to be in Mobile next week, JP, for the Senior Bowl.
Oh,
so
nice.
We'll be there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then we come home. So
going to be a big draft. And you guys always get great info at the Senior Bowl.
That's why we go. Yeah. We'll get some good stuff there. Make sure you stay tuned to pewterreport.com. We have stories coming up later today and all throughout the week and all throughout next week at the Senior Bowl. Pewterreport.com is the mothership. And you can also find us on social media at Pewter Report on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Great stuff, my friend. As always.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks, JP. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Fascinating stuff right there. This is going to be it's going to be one hell of an offseason, man. It's going to be one hell of an offseason. It's either the Buccaneers ship is going to sail with wind behind it and Tom Brady blowing the wind, or it is going to find some very rough seas.
I don't want to rebuild.
Very rough seas.
I don't want to rebuild. I know I said
Nobody
that
wants to rebuild.
I know that I said I
but
can
I
take
can
it.
tell you this, with the Bucs, if they try this middle ground crap, it's a disaster.
What is middle ground?
Middle ground is like, oh, let's hold on to Mike Evans and all of our assets, and we'll try to get some wins out of Kyle Trask, or we'll keep Blaine Gabbert because he can run the offense, and we'll put Band-Aids over here and Band-Aids over there. No, rip it off. Rip it off. You know, we're going to do some more contracts to put more down to get a couple more free agents to come in. No, if Tom goes, rip it off. Rip it off. Take as much in the bootay as you have to in terms of the cap. Get rid of all. I mean, I hate, there's tough conversations you got to have with guys like Mike Evans and Ryan Jensen and guys that are assets. The core guys I would keep, they're still going to be great players 2-3 years down the line. Tristan Wirfs, Rashad White. We talked about this yesterday. Devin White. I'm not down with giving him a lot of money. I don't think we can pay an inside linebacker. And what I've seen for 4 years, he's a splash play guy. He's not.
5 years ago, I would have given Levante David that money.
Yeah,
and not thought twice about it.
Levante David and Devin White are two totally different players.
Yeah,
in my mind.
but I can't do it for Devin White.
No, it's not. He's a good linebacker. He's not a great linebacker. And so, yeah, I think there's not. Yeah, I think Antoine Winfield's a piece you want to keep. Obviously, you got Carlton Davis under contract. I would certainly keep him. I'm trying to think of Rashad White. Definitely,
you're having a dig for guys
because you brought
it's an aging roster.
Yeah, you brought this up the other day. Shaq Barrett, see you later. It's an aging roster, and at the key positions they need help. Left tackle. That could be Tristan Wirfs. So I think you have elite left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. Rush end, you got nothing. You got nothing. You got an old Shaq Barrett, a 30-year-old Shaq Barrett coming off an Achilles. It's just not. If you can get something for him, you trade him.
Yeah, realistically, you have about 5 guys that you can go into the foxhole with a rebuild. It's Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr., Vita Vea,
Rashad
White. I'll put there, but I don't think he's anywhere near the class of
third round cheap guy, and I think he's got talent. I think he's got real talent.
I won't put him in the top 5 pillars though.
Right.
Okay, after that, you have to put Carlton Davis in there because he's still young and he's contracted. And Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin's a keeper just because
that's your 5.
Yeah. Everything else is on the board. And gain assets, go get young players.
You say everything's on the board, though. I do kind of agree with Scott. It would be the Glazers to trade Mike Evans. These are, you talk about business and all that. Is that best? That might be good for football business in a sense if you can get picks for him. But the fact that his contract is up after this season,
you get nothing.
But you're not getting a team to give you a first. It's just not happening. The value is going to be lower on Mike Evans now because he's coming off. Let's just be honest. He's coming off, by his standards, a downer of a season, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be 30.
I still think
he'll be a free agent. I don't know if it outweighs the.
There's the Devontae Adams. There's the AJ Brown. I think would be a better. These guys are out there looking for ones for their quarterbacks. They're young quarterbacks. We got to go get that guy.
Well, those guys, though, are 24, 25 years old.
True.
That's what I'm saying. I think Mike Evans'
maybe
deal
another team will reach. They might want to reach for it. And if they do, you find stupid teams out there and you take advantage of them. And maybe that's something you get. Like if they're going to give me a third rounder, I'm not interested. It's got to be a high 2 or 1.
I don't know.
It's not worth trading him for
I
that.
just feel like Mike Evans is like in that tier of like the best, but like he's going to be on the Ring of Honor one day.
Absolutely.
And he's like Derek Brooks got to stay his entire career here. Rondé got to do it. I think Mike Evans, if Mike Evans wants to be here, I think he's that guy that you go, yeah, we're going to have you here because you want him in your locker room. You want him out.
You're not going to make the money that you were going to make. We're going to rework that contract, and it's going to be a hell of a lot lower than what you've been making. And that's fine.
It depends where Mike's priorities are.
Right. If he wants to stay because his family's here and he's settled here, fine. I mean, Mike deserves everything that. But again, this is a business. There's a lot of this stuff going on lately that I hear about. Oh, this guy's family or this guy's family, and this, if he wants to stay here all his career and all this. This is the business you chose, man. This is the business you chose. You're going to get traded. You're going to get fired. You're going to, and you know what? When you get fired, you collect all that money. If you're a coach, if you're a player, you got all that money up front. So I'm sorry. I understand. There's families and everything else. You chose this business. I chose my business. There's positives and negatives to everything. So it's business. Sorry. And honestly, this is one of the problems this organization has right now. And Todd and Scott just talked about it. Todd Bowles was given the green light to fire Byron Leftwich twice this year. If you don't have the stomach to do that with a guy who's not listening to you and not doing what you want, you're not a head coach. You're not. I'm sorry. Listen, to me, that's as damning as it. Two things as damning as it gets for head coaches. Your quarterback calling out your game day effort as embarrassing, and you had the chance to fire an assistant coach that wasn't doing what you wanted to do. And maybe that was his loyalty to Bruce Arians. Todd was, Bruce didn't want him fired. And Todd, that's a tough call.
We just got Scott's perspective on it, that he looked around his staff and said, I don't see anybody that's going to jump right in and do a better fit. And you fire, how many times does it work out for teams that you fire something as important as the OC in the middle of the season and you turn things around?
What was it?
I just don't know what was getting turned around.
The Ravens that fired Cam Cameron one year as their OC in the middle of the season and took off and won the Super Bowl?
You can fire a head coach and get some energy from it. We saw that this year.
Listen, if I'm the head coach, my job's on the line, my family.
Was Todd Bowles' job on the line, honestly, 7 games into the season when this was taking place?
Well, your success. He could very.
He signed a 5-year contract? He's not thinking about his job being on the line 7 games into the season. Even then, nobody could have predicted where this was going.
I'm not saying he was on the hot seat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to make hard decisions as a head coach. And if you have an assistant coach that's not listening to you, that guy's going to get you fired.
But he hedged his bet on, hey, we're just going to stick with it. How did that work out? Tom will keep us in the games.
How did that work out?
You didn't win a playoff game doing it, but I don't think any scenario would have won you a playoff game. You had the team that you had.
You don't know.
I doubt.
You don't know. I don't know.
I failed to see it.
Okay, well, everybody wanted Byron Leftwich fired. Whether it comes in the middle of the season or after the season or whatever, everybody wanted a change. I'm going to change mid-season. I'm going to go try it. I'm going to give – I know this ain't working, and he ain't listening to me, and I'm the head coach. And Bruce, I know that's your guy, and you gave me the shot here, but I'm the head coach now. This guy's not listening to me, or this is dysfunctional. I got to move on.
If I had another young guy on the staff, on the offensive side of the ball that I really believed in, I would understand it. But I did. Clyde Christensen is 66 years old, hasn't called plays since God knows when. Scott just said he was going to get fired anyways. I don't think Todd Bowles was ever really considering that. Well, and I don't really know how much it would have changed.
I would have. And what we do know, what is factual, is what your decision was wrong, because it never got any better. In fact, it got worse as the season went on. Nothing ever changed. And that to me was the dysfunction within this organization. Players see it, and they lose confidence in the coaching staff. If they don't feel like the coaching staff is on the same page, if in the running game is not married to the passing game, and they see the dysfunction, how can they go out and give their best effort if they know the coaching staff is not on the same page? If Scott knew it, and I heard it, and other people have reported it, you don't think the players knew it? You don't think the players played like that? That's why the culture sucked, because everybody knew that they weren't on the same page. And Byron was obviously a big part of that. If he's not, if the head coach is telling you to do something and you're not doing it, and the product that you're putting out there is so dysfunctional, I mean, you got to make the hard choice. And I don't think Todd that's one of the reasons that he's not a great head coach, because he's not an a-hole enough to fire his friends and fire people that he likes and loves if they're not doing the job. This is a business, and it's hard to do, and you make a lot of enemies. But if you're not doing the job, and you're certainly not listening to what I'm telling you to do, and I'm the head coach, you got it.
I'm laughing. I'm only laughing right now because I just was reminded when you were talking about Byron Leftwich, I was reminded of the report that I saw of the team that is expected to pursue him heavily to be their new offensive coordinator. And it just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Cardinals?
No, Baltimore. The team that runs the ball more than anybody in the league is going to get the offensive coordinator who does nothing but pass the ball with Lamar Jackson.
They're a better.
That seems like a little recipe for disaster, no?
Yeah, it seems like we're totally ridiculous. Byron's going to bring in the worst rushing offense in history of the NFL to the team that is the best rushing.
And we're going to run the Bruce Arians scheme with Lamar Jackson?
0 cents. Makes 0 cents.
Woo.
0 cents. But how many times have we seen in this league that people do stuff like this and we just go, you're paid that much money to do that? You don't even know that? All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side and get to some of your comments here today. Lots of good comments, so we'll get to these and put them up here when we come back. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source and American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald and the boys over there will take care of you if you have a mortgage issue, if you want to refinance. I know the rates are high, but you still got to buy a house, right? You got to get one. Well, you got to do something. He will find you the best rate and the best situation for your situation. That's what he does. He takes a look at all of your finances and says, okay, this is the best way to go. And with an eye on the future, too. So there are different products out there with adjustable rates. So let him talk you through it. American Mortgage Services, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com. He is the man. Back in 3. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-06 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, and, of course, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Let's get to some of the comments here, shall we? Lots of guys jumping in here today, so we appreciate all you dudes jumping in. We're not taking calls, so this is the best way to do it. Bucks Basement, whoever you are, we love your input. Thank you very much. Sean Payton, favored to coach Broncos, another red flag for the Raiders. Jets pursuing Rodgers. Another team, tough team gets better in the AFC. If Brady wants to go to the playoffs, NFC is the best bet. No question about it. And what are his options in the NFC?
I mean, if Sean Payton goes elsewhere, not New Orleans, not Carolina, I think that takes those two situations completely off the table.
Agreed.
I mean, I've told you the one team that I thought was sneaky good, but it's such a chaotic franchise, it probably wouldn't work, but they had the pieces, was Washington.
Yeah.
It's such a chaotic franchise, but I feel like they had all the pieces, though.
Yeah. I still think that I think the Jets are in play. But I think they're also going after
if they
Rodgers.
could have the option to get Rodgers or Brady, I think they're clearly going to go Rodgers.
Yeah, you go Rodgers just because his mobility. Brady gets the leadership nod, but I think it's tough to, if you have the choice of those two, to go back to Brady after what you saw this year. Scott Reynolds predicted the Bill O'Brien Patriots hire, so he was right again. Scott still believes Brady is back. Yeah, you heard what Scott said. I don't think he believes Brady's back. I think he kind of believes that it's an option, and it may be his best option when he looks at everything. But maybe, we'll see. We heard him talk about the retiring of Clyde Christensen. I still think I think Clyde would stay if he really thought Tom was coming back. That's just my personal opinion. Glazers want him back, and they always get what they want. Always. I don't know about that.
Can you imagine the Glazers? I mean, I'm just thinking of this because obviously I follow Man United. Can you imagine losing Cristiano Ronaldo and Tom Brady in a 3-month span?
That's tough.
You talk about a business hit.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's two of the most recognizable faces on the freaking planet.
That is tough. Yeah. To lose two of those guys in 3 months.
But you're closer to the Ronaldo situation.
Ronaldo basically.
That was toxic.
It was very toxic, and he said he badmouthed the Glazers and the entire franchise and got himself out of there. Basically.
Clearly different from this situation.
Clearly different from this situation. I'm just saying, from a money standpoint, kind of a travesty for the Glazers there.
Yeah, and there's been some talk about them selling Man United.
Oh, that's happening.
That's
absolutely happening.
They're definitely doing that.
Who knows who it's going to be, but it's happening. They've put them up for sale, and they know they've got to go.
Yeah, when you can sell them for that much money and make that much money.
We're talking like $7 billion or more here.
And they bought it for like what, $4 billion or maybe $2 billion?
Yeah, back in like billion. What 04, 05, around there.
No, it was about 09, 08, and 09. After Gruden got fired.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So and they just, why would you want all the death threats that they get and all those crazy Man United fans? Why would you want to put up with that? Just take your money.
And there's a big thing. There's a big thing in European
soccer. Still an NFL owner.
Big thing about European soccer is they hate American owners.
Yeah,
all of them hate American owners. So
yeah. Why put up with that? You made your money, cash out. Jordan Gomillion says, "Mark my words, they're returning to New England. No one is talking about that, but it's happening since O'Brien just signed with them. Get ready." I don't see Brady going
I floated it out there yesterday.
Brady and Belichick hate each other, man.
Oh, I don't think they hate each other. But he spoke fondly of Belichick yesterday on his little podcast. On his podcast, I shouldn't say little. On his podcast. I think that whole butting heads thing, I think, is probably way overblown. Way overblown.
And Gronk's not going back to New England.
I don't know if Gronk's coming back to play.
It's honestly still the best situation, Tampa Bay. I think so too. When you look around, I think there's to everything that's available out there. I think this is still his best situation, which is what I use to predict him to come here. And unless there's something we don't know, if there's some other elements that we don't know, because you could still get, you got to get back on the same page as Evans. Godwin's going to be healthy. Hopefully Gage is healthy. Maybe you get, you start working Tompkins in a little bit more to give you some speed. Rashad White's going to be better. Jensen is back. The offensive line is more solidified. You got another draft class where you can go out, maybe get another speed receiver, or think about that, taking a great receiver with the 19th overall pick, and maybe trading one of the ones you have. Who knows? But there's, you look at the return. I think you got to get, you need an edge rusher big time. But if you get Shaq back and he can play, I think he's going to be a little limited. But if he can play and you draft another edge rusher coming off there, I mean, these are scenarios that could definitely happen if Brady comes back. And he obviously he's familiar with the organization. He can handpick his OC now, right? So I think this is a great situation for him. I mean, what's better than that? Miami running that San Francisco-based offense?
I don't know. Whoever brought that up yesterday, the more I think about that, that seems like not an option.
He's got to learn that offense, right? And then, how does that all work?
Well, there's no learning it. I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, right. And does Miami, if Sean Payton goes to Miami, but there hadn't been a lot of smoke there, and that whole Brian Flores lawsuit, I don't know how that works in. So maybe Miami is not I think they have Tyreek Hill and Waddle and Gesicki. They've got great weapons. The offensive line's pretty good. So I don't think it's a terrible situation.
Well, if you go there, though, it's like those two guys are burners and they want to get deep. Yeah. And we saw when Miami's offense was rolling, it was when those guys were going deep.
Down the field.
Now, Brady's arm is way stronger than Tua's.
That's right.
Nobody's going to debate that.
Yeah.
But do they have the line to hold up? Because if not, what are you doing then?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of unknowns there, right? What else we got?
Someone suggested here, if you could get it was Mark P. If you could get Jordan Love for a 3rd round pick, would you do it?
He's an unknown.
He's an unknown, but if the option is him or Kyle Trask,
Jordan Love.
Least I've seen Jordan Love play, and I saw a little bit. Like there was zip.
There's
there.
Tools.
There's zip there.
There's some serious tools there.
It just again, but if that's all, that's dependent on Rodgers, though.
Yeah, and I gotta get a guy that can move. Trask is, he can move a little, but not like Jordan Love. No, I would take a 3rd round flyer on him.
I'd take a flyer on it.
Absolutely. Because I can trade somebody and get a 3rd round pick. Absolutely.
I would feel better about Jordan Love over any quarterback they'd be picking at 19.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And, and there's a guy that's been in the NFL for 3 years now?
Yeah, he's been sitting behind Rodgers.
But he's been in the league. He knows the league. He knows what, instead of a rookie guy that's, seeing stars when he comes in. Yeah, you just don't know. And there's nobody in this class that's going to be left at 19 that's worth a rat's ass.
I do think, though, that Scott's point is true, though, about, Todd Bowles and Jason Licht kind of being together right now, and that they both know that this could be it for even both of them. And if you go that route of a
rebuild
of a Kyle Trask or rookie quarterback, you're basically like, all right, peace out, Tampa, like both of you, likely. So, I mean, all these things are going to influence these decisions.
But here's another thing, though, and I always and this is true to me. It's like, how many games did you win? What happened? Like everybody's saying this year, oh, you were the NFC South champion, so you can't fire anybody. No, you weren't. You were, but that's not normally you'd say, oh, you won a division, you can't get fired. This was not winning a division. This was defaulting a division. You got defaulted the division. Come on, let's just be honest about this. You didn't go out and beat anybody worth a damn outside your division, except the Cowboys. You did that, no question about it. That's a win. But come on. And looked at how dysfunctional the team was, and no, the game management, all those things would suggest no, you can be fired. I don't think it would have been a stretch. And it still might happen. You don't know. If something were, what, God forbid, what if, New Orleans was so stupid to say, yeah, you can have Sean Payton for your first round draft pick. We'd be like, okay, Tom Brady's back with Sean Payton. That could happen. Is it going to happen? Doubtful, but it could. Things happen in this league all the time that are just crazy. So, you just don't know. And I don't think you get tied to a number. And if the Bucs decide to rebuild, let's say they rebuild and do everything that I said, strip this team down, and Jason Light goes out and has a killer draft class, and Todd Bowles coaches up the defense, gets some new pieces, and they win, they win 7 games, one less than they won last year. That, to me, would be a more impressive coaching job than what we saw this year. So you don't know. And hell, you might win the freaking division with 7 wins. You don't know. So to me, it's not a matter of, if you rebuild, everybody gets fired. No. Look what the Eagles did. They did fire their coach. I get that, but they rebuilt rather quickly through the draft and, fired their coach, all the investment they had in Carson Wentz, and boom, here they are back because they built a badass defensive line, a badass offensive line. They went out and got a good quarterback who's a great leader and developed him. And I think that's a great template to look at, but it doesn't necessarily mean
a lot
if
of
you
the
rebuild
pieces,
that those guys are fired.
I will say, though, like just a lot of the pieces that you're referring to on offensive and defensive line, they were already there.
Yeah, they were.
That first run. Because
they held on, and they held on to those
I was going to
pieces.
bring that up when you talked about, you got to start moving yourself off of some of these older players. Well, the Eagles had a lot of players that were kind of at that point in 2018. Like Brandon Graham, and he's still amazing.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox, maybe not as what he used to be, but he's still there.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat was there before. He's coming to his own. Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. Like, they had a lot of pieces that they could have, and rightfully so, maybe shipped off at that time, but they kept them. Because I think that's the thing, too. If you're
those
trying,
would have been pieces that I would have kept around.
Yeah, but my point is, it's like if you're trying to rebuild, but you want to do it quickly, like Philadelphia did, you have to keep some of these guys here.
Yeah.
And it has to be more than the 5 that I think I laid out last segment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jensen could be a guy like that because, centers can play a little bit longer. But now he's coming off an injured knee. So that's interesting as well. Lonnie's jumping in here. JP, it blows my mind. We still don't have a ballpark decision. Family member of mine had dinner with many of the investors for the Nashville group with Mattingly. There's legit traction of expansion. Absolutely. But the Rays aren't going to Nashville. They're going to get an expansion team, Nashville. So there has to be a stadium solution by the end of next year. So it's still, as crazy as it sounds. I mean, if I were the owner, the deadline would have been years ago. But for him to max out his money and to put as much money into pit one city against the other, he's got to take it down to the deadline. So that's what he's going to do. And eventually, I still think the deal is going to get done in Tampa. I just wish that Major League Baseball, and this lawsuit has been kicked down the can. The can's been kicked down the road. They're still waiting on whether they're going to have a jury trial for the main count in this lawsuit. And if it goes to a jury trial, it's going to be an issue for Major League Baseball because they're not going to want all the discovery. We've talked about that. So I still think it's going to be Tampa. All the stuff that's going on in St. Petersburg right now is none of that situation has funded a ballpark. And when it comes down to brass tacks and the mayor has to, spit out $1 billion to build a ballpark that's going to in a failed location, I think he'll think twice about that. And I think if it was left up to the constituents, if they were to vote on it in St. Pete, it would be overwhelmingly rejected. Overwhelmingly. So, I still think it's Tampa, but it's still going to be a ways off.
I love Lonnie. Look at that. Nick's hat is elite.
What is it? You got a nice lake.
Damn right my hat is elite. This is the elite logo, by the way. This is the best logo in Tampa Bay sports history. I just want everybody to know. Want everybody to know.
That is.
Okay. All respect to the Lightning now. It's a little too simplistic for my liking. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Lightning. Steven Stamkos will be celebrated again tonight for his 500th goal. So we got some pomp and circumstance coming up tonight. So we'll tell you about that. Look ahead to tonight's game against the Minnesota Wild. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source and Italiano Insurance. Time for that insurance checkup, everybody. Let them do the work. You save the money. They'll shop the dozens and dozens of companies that they represent. for homeowners insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, business insurance, which you must have if you have started a business. So check them out. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. A human being will answer the phone. You get the best customer service, and they can save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. Why would you not call? It's a free call. Let them do the work for you. 813-877-7799. Back in 3.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We are so proud to welcome back the Valspar Championship as one of our sponsors coming up March 16th to 19th. We have 4 days of great golf, a host of fun activities. It is the hottest Tampa Bay sport ticket going. There's so much new stuff going on this year. One of the new things going on this year, of course, they always have great premium seating out there. It has become quite the social event. The Hooters Owl's Nest obviously is a great place. People love to hang out there. The Snake Pit Club is something they brought in a couple of years ago. It gives you a bunch of different venues on all the back nine and the Snake Pit there on 15, 16, 17, and 18 different places you can go in and get free food and drinks in there. And then there's going to be this thing called the Rooftop, which is a new prestige venue at the 18th hole with music, food, fun. And you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. They're going to try to herd some of the celebrities that come out. Rondé Barber, of course, is the chairman. He will be out there, but you'll see Buccaneers, Lightning players love to head out there. You'll see Rays players. All the spring training guys will be here. So you never know who you're going to see at the rooftop. So that's another premium venue ticket that you will want to get a hold of. So much fun. Of course, Friday's going to be St. Patrick's Day. Saturday, we got Darius Rucker coming in. And so your Saturday ticket will get you the free concert that night. And, of course, on Sunday, you got the final round. So much to do. You do not want to miss this event. So get your tickets now at ValsparChampionship.com, March 16th through the 19th, with all the fun and frivolity that will be going on. All right, more fun and frivolity tonight at the Lightning, as we will have a great pregame ceremony to mark the 500th goal by your captain, Steven Stamkos. I know my Lightning Vision brethren are very busy this week putting up videos. We're going to have all kinds of different graphics and memories of the years gone by. The website did a great story on top 10 Stamkos goals, counting them down. I think they have even the clips as well. So we talked about our favorite goal was in the 2020 season when he came back for that one shift and scored a goal, which I think will go down. That's the one I want for his statue out front of Ambly Arena. That celebration right after that goal, that was fantastic. So many good memories.
I think it's so fitting too for the celebration, with Joe Smith being a Minnesota Wild beat reporter now.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's who they play tonight. So obviously he's in town, I believe.
Yep.
I think that's so fitting because he covered all of Stamkos' career?
Except this
year. To this point?
Yeah.
So there you go. It was meant to be.
Dave Mishkin has called every one of Stamkos' goals.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. There was game 82, final game of the regular season in 2012, where Stamkos had 59 goals. They were playing at Winnipeg. Prior to the contest, Ovechkin was the only player to score 60 goals since 1996. Only 19 players in NHL history had done that. With 16:31 left in the third period, Stamkos took a pass from his longtime line mate, Martin St. Louis, and ripped a wrister past Andre Pavelec.
Okay, so think about that. Think about what you just said there. I think is significant. Since 1996, before Stamkos had done it, the only player to score 60 goals was Alex Ovechkin.
Yep.
So that means since 1996, so what is that, 27 years? 27 years later, there have only been 3 guys in this league that have scored 60 goals: Alex Ovechkin, Steven Stamkos, and Austin Matthews. Let that one sink in for a little bit.
That's pretty significant.
In an era where it's harder to score than ever right now.
Yeah. That's going to, I mean, as we enjoy Steven Stamkos, who had a career year last year, 106 points last year, career year. And we're sitting here watching him again with 21 goals now? 21, I think it's 21. He's on his way to another 40-goal season. At 32 years old, you know, we're looking at 600. You know, Andrew Chuck's sitting at 640. Will he pass Andrew Chuck? And might take 3 years, but that's a possibility. He's going to end up in the top 10 in goals scored if he stays healthy. I mean,
it's possible.
He's a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame right now. If he never plays another game, even never plays another game, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame. But we're talking about legendary status now. So
yeah, right now he sits 44th on the all-time list because, again, I think he scored the other day against Calgary, right? I think he scored against Calgary. So he's continuing, as Brian Bradley said, once he gets 500, he's going to start going on a tear. Yeah. And he's done exactly that. So I think he's going to get 40 and beyond this season. But let's say he puts another 40-goal season up right now or next year, adding on. So let's say he gets to around 525 this year, right?
Right.
That puts him 36th all time. Do another 40-goal season. That puts him 25th all time. Let's just say he gets a 30-goal season after that. Now he's in the top 20. So when he's all said and done, assuming he stays healthy here and keeps up at a 30, 35, 40-goal pace, he's going to be in the top 20, maybe an outside shot to get inside the top 15, which is where Dave Andreychuk is all time.
Wow. We're just watching greatness.
So we can't take it for granted. We cannot take it for granted.
And the question is, will Kucherov, I don't know if he'll ever approach him in goals.
Oh, no.
But points?
I think Kucherov might be on a more – I'd have to double-check that, but he might be on a better point-per-game total maybe.
Yeah.
Because he's put up over 100 points multiple times in his career, and I think he can probably honestly do that for the next 5 years straight if he wanted to.
Yeah, and then you look at the, what I think for Stamkos is his ultimate legacy. It's the Cups. And not only the Cups, but the Conference Finals, Stanley Cup Finals. In this day and age when, in every sport, longevity and dynasties are very, very rare.
Yeah.
I think the Lightning have to win one more cup, then we give them the dynasty. It could be this year or next year. Win one more cup, I think you get the dynasty. I mean, when you look at what they've done comparative to the league over the last 8-10 years, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Nobody has the resume of this team. And Steven Stamkos is a huge part of it. Even though he's been injured in a little bit of it, he has been a rock-solid leader that has set the culture in this organization to be what it is today. No question about it.
Yeah. When you look at dynasties, that's obviously Pittsburgh because they won 3, won back-to-back, and they won 1 in Crosby and Malkin's like 3rd or 4th season together.
Yep.
Like even like Colorado and Detroit when they won like 5 of 6 finals back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Detroit's the dynasty because they got 3. Colorado's not because they got 2.
Right.
That's how it rolls.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're looking for something the Lightning are always chasing. I mean, this is all cherry on top, obviously. But if you want to be one of the 7-8 dynasties the league has ever seen, that's what you got to get to.
Yeah. And had Braden Point been healthy last year?
Maybe so.
But a bit of 3-peat. All right, but tonight they got Minnesota. They lost 5-1 to Minnesota on January 4th. That was the night Vasi was sick.
Yeah,
late.
He's in the net tonight.
Late scratch. Brian Elliott had to play. Not that he was horrible, but that was a tough game. I think it was a back-to-back. They got in late. Yeah,
and
so
I'm interested to see how they come out tonight because there's going to be the ceremony at the beginning. See how they respond to that, and then I can't help but look ahead at the schedule and see that they got a day off, and then here come the Bruins into town. So
that's going to be huge.
Talk about litmus test. It's going to be huge here. So you don't want to, not that I don't want to say they're looking ahead to that one, but they have that one circled.
There's no question.
But then again, you've dropped 2 in a row now. You didn't play particularly well at all against Calgary. This is the last week here before you get a week off for the All-Star break. So you got to give your best here for these 3 games.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is 17-4-1 at home this season. Only Boston has a better home record, and theirs is 9-4. Ridiculous. Bolts have scored 4 or more goals in 8 of their last 9 games at Amalie. They've won 9 consecutive games at Amalie Arena, tied for the 3rd longest home winning streak in franchise history. That's not nothing. They're playing really, really well at home. Looks like Nick Perbix is still going to be out. And they've got Boston on Thursday and then
LA
Saturday night.
Tough stretch here before you go into a week off.
Yeah.
Tough stretch.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what this team needs, though, right now. To be quite honest, got a comment there.
No, I'm going back and forth with Lonnie here, and he said he's talking about my hat being the elite logo, but he popped me when he said, unlike the Ray Sunburst, which is total ass, long live the Manta Ray.
Yeah,
it's so true. That Sunburst sucks. It's awful. They put that on everything now, and then when they wear their jerseys, they got like TB on their hat. They got the freaking Sunburst here on the side, and then they got the old school Manta Ray on the right. Like, what are we doing? There's no continuity to anything there.
Clown organization.
I felt like you had something more you wanted to add to that. Even though you're not big on a uniform.
I'm not
guy.
A uniform guy,
But I don't own any piece of merchandise that has that sun ray on it, though. Not a shot.
It's just a nothing thing,
It's not a nothing thing.
It's just
it's not a nothing thing. It's not a nothing thing. Well, yeah, there you go. Sunburst. Exactly how you said it. Exactly how it comes off.
Sunburst. No, the only thing I didn't like about the old Devil Rays colors I thought were kind of cool, but some of the socks and some of that stuff was just a little.
Here we go. He said we need to get JP some Devil Ray socks and a creamsicle shirt for his birthday, just for your reaction alone.
Lonnie, I love Lonnie. He said, hell, they couldn't even get the pier right. How long did it take him to get the damn pier done? And then, do you like it? I don't like it.
The pier?
Yeah,
I like it.
I don't like. I'm not a very. postmodern guy. I don't like modern architecture for the most part.
Oh no, like I'll tell you right now, I think the whole thing they did in Tampa, like it's an eyesore to me.
What?
Everything they did there on Channel Side. Like
really?
when I drive by it every day on the way here, and I just look over and I'm like, what is that?
What? All the buildings?
It's so tight.
It's
very tight, and it went up really quickly.
They shoehorned that stuff in there.
It's like glass, like everywhere.
I told you there are 80. I read this in I think it was Tampa Tomorrow Instagram that there are 80 permitted sky rises. I guess anything over 15 stories is considered like 80 different permits for downtown Tampa, Ybor City, and all that area. Like you think it's going big. It's going to look a lot like Miami here in about 5 years. Yeah.
I don't like any of these things though. Like you won't catch me.
You don't like progress.
You won't like me. You won't see me at Sparkman Wharf. You won't see me at the other one. What's the other one again? Where all the food places are at the end of the river.
Armature Works.
You won't see me there.
Why? Armature Works is great. I love
food.
Armature Works.
Like I don't.
It's a big food, yeah, and it's got the great outdoors. They got outdoor bars there. They have music fests out there. It's right on the water. What's wrong with that?
It's too crowded for me.
What's wrong with that, man?
No, I like the little Cuban cafes around.
Old.
Get out of here.
What do you like?
I like the little have you heard of La Teresita and
of course,
Arcoisis?
Yeah,
like those are my places I go to.
Those are great.
You'll catch me in there.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch me spending. You're not going to catch me spending $20 for some awful sushi roll inside Armature Works. It ain't happening.
I will agree with you on that. That stuff over there is like, but everything's overpriced these days. Everything is overpriced. But I kind of like the vibe there. But yeah, you end up paying like you get a personal pizza for like $18.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm more of a West Tampa. I'm a West Tampa guy.
Days.
You're a South Tampa guy. I'm a West Tampa guy.
I like those places. Those I was at the other day is Seminole Heights. We went into this little kava coffee shop. Have you had the kava? That's like dirty. They call it like dirt water or whatever. The brown one.
No.
Yeah, it's made from the kava root. It's not the most appetizing thing until you put flavors into it. But I wish I remembered the actual place because the girl that was working in there was super cool, and we got some really good coffees. And but I tried the kava stuff. Ooh, that gives you a little like buzz, and your mouth is like tingling. I'm like, what is this all going on here? But it wasn't the most appetizing thing in the world. My stomach was like, what the F was that? I'm like, it's kava. Lonnie's like the pure concrete is already cracking and the only food is stupid pizza. Yeah, they effed that whole thing up.
I mean, I've only been there once, so it was like a year ago.
Let them try and build another stadium down there. They effed up the Trop. Trying to build this whole Tropicana, redeveloped Tropicana site and stick a baseball stadium right in the middle of it. It's just in a failed location. Spend $1 billion for it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Speaking of the Rays, because we definitely had to get into the I think what Topkin wrote. Was it yesterday or today?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That had me again shaking my head. I know we talked to Rich yesterday and we had optimism and all this stuff, but I'm trying to read exactly what Topkin wrote here from the article. Remember when Rays baseball operations president Eric Neander said it would be unwise to expect the offense to improve by standing pat? After an offseason of shopping around, it appears they may just do that.
And try to sell it as something
as banking on breakthrough candidates and bounce back candidates.
You know what the strategy is don't you? Ching, 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 ching. Has nothing to do with that. They wanted to spend money. It just, nothing really presented itself. That's, we wanted to. We were out there. Look, we were in it on. Who are we in on? What's the other BS? All the other ones we were in on?
I don't know who we were in on. I actually
in on anybody.
Like the rumors dried up a long time ago. It's been very quiet over there out of Tampa Bay.
You weren't in on anybody.
Now it's a little too quiet.
Yeah,
which suggests something's happening.
Yeah, they're going to trade Tyler Glass now.
Oh my gosh, they're not trading Tyler Glass now. Come on.
Richie P says Rooster and Attila is top of the line. I remember as a kid, I believe that used to be a TV repair shop. Yeah, there's so many cool restaurants that have gone in on Seminole Heights. Really, really nice. It's a great place. The Front Porch is one I've been to. Amazing meatloaf. Yeah, there's some great ones over there. The Rooster and Attila is fantastic too. All right. Seahouse. I went to Seahouse. Not impressed with Seahouse. Overpriced charcuterie. No good. The burger wasn't bad though.
I've heard of Spatty's Coffee. I haven't had that though. Have you been there?
Spatty's Coffee. I've not been
heard
to
of
Spatty's.
that.
I've been to King State, which is really cool. King State is an old gas station that has really, really good coffee and desserts, and they do limited food there. But that's just a really cool, nice vibe. King State, if you've not been there.
I love this though. Keep our local places going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep our local places going. I keep seeing too many articles on Creative Loafing of all these local places that closed down lately.
I know.
It sucks.
Well, Jeff Gigante and Titus O'Neill just opened a new restaurant called Boulan, I think it is called, which is just down there in the area where you won't go. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Where is it?
And it's right next to the Addition. I think it's called Boulan.
What is the Addition? Hold up.
The Addition is the new 5-star hotel down there.
Where?
Yeah, where the show was going on the other night. The Addition.
I'm completely lost.
Yeah, it's the hotel right across from Amalie Arena.
Okay, down there.
Yeah.
Down there. Okay.
Yeah, the place you don't like.
Yeah, no, I don't go there.
Yeah,
No.
and it's Boulan, Boulon. Jeff Gigante, who's of course, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank now in Hyde Park. I'm drawing a complete blank. I was just there the other night. No, not Meat Market. We're right to the Italian place right down the corner. And Titus is part owner in Boulan. Forbici so he has Forbici and Fresh Kitchen and all of those different Taco Dirty. So many great restaurants that Jeff's been a part of. But now Boulan is a really high end place right down. Then Titus O'Neill is one of the investors and a bunch of other big ballers. But the place looks absolutely gorgeous. So I want to get over there soon. Check that. I might go by there tonight.
A lot of people are telling me I got to get down to Water Street. I'm seeing it here.
Water Street is cool, man.
I've been sleeping on it.
Yeah, you got to go down
there.
I
mean, I drove by it during Christmas, and they had the lights out there, and it looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm just so against modern architecture is what turns me away.
Yeah, there's a lot of that down there. Port Kojak's is gone, but I think they sold it to another restaurateur, so there's going to have some other restaurant that's going in there. The Casper family bought the old Kojak's barbecue, so they're going to do something with that. That's cool. Now, there's a lot of great new restaurants that are coming online here in Tampa Bay. A lot of it is downtown Water Street. So if you're at a Lightning game, you just walk around. They do markets on the weekends down there. Really, really cool places. There's going to be a lot more places going in. So, it is Thomas Casper. The Addition is full of cougars. They're the only ones that have the time and the money to go over there. Are you kidding me?
God.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I'm so different.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm so different from. This is why actually I think I don't like
Bella Brava and Drew Brees spot in Midtown. It's great. Yeah, Drew Brees spot is walk-ons. I'm not Bella Brava. It's good too.
Man, y'all know all these places.
Yeah,
I've never heard of any of this stuff y'all are throwing out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of new restaurants that have just come online in the last few.
I was just thinking of why I'm really irked by that area there in Water Street is because I love the Hooters that was there.
Yes.
I just want my Hooters. That's all I wanted, and they took it away from me.
They need a Hooters in Midtown. I'm not Midtown, but downtown, like a Hooters type place. And we got Hat Tricks, which is fantastic. I mean, that's my favorite place, but it's so crowded.
Yeah, it's always crowded.
Yeah. And stuff to get in there. Yeoman's is good. That's downtown. They kind of a Hooters type thing, but yeah, I mean, you got to go to Hillsborough or Gandy to get use my VIP card.
We love the VIP card.
Love the VIP card at Hooters. Are you kidding me? It's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of good restaurants coming online. So we want to. And there's a new brew house that just opened up in Tampa as well in Seminole Heights. There's tons of cool things coming online. I hope we can support them all. I really do. But
I think something tells me we will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, explosions. But look at all the stuff that's exploding in downtown Tampa.
Yeah.
It's like, again, we love downtown St. Pete, but it's not the place for a baseball stadium. And I'm telling you, it's going to end up in Ybor City. And I know that the other day, Daryl Shaw, who bought the shipyard, the dry dock area there, that whole thing, and he put out a rendering of what they're going to do in what they're calling Ybor Marina. Oh, looks so cool. All these high rises, Ybor Marina. But I think he put that out there as a shot over the bow to Stu Sternberg and say, look, I ain't messing around. I've been waiting on your ass for 3 years. You're going to build this stadium or we're not going to do it. Let's partner. Let's get this done. If not, I'm moving forward with all this other stuff. I know a lot of people saw it and said, oh, I thought they were putting the baseball stadium there. I'm like, yeah, that's where it was supposed to go. But I think this is kind of a shot over the bow to Stu. It's like, look, you wanted a waterfront site. We got you a waterfront site. Now let's partner here, build the stadium. I'll build the condos around it. I'll pay for a good portion of it. You pay for a portion of it. Tampa will pay in Hillsborough County. Hillsborough County's got $350 million they can throw in. They can find some other money too through special taxing districts for the developers. So it's kind of a three-headed thing. You get the Hillsborough County with 350, the developers come in with 350, and then you get Sternberg with 350, although he should pay a hell of a lot more than that. You've got almost $1 billion there to build the stadium and the things around it that are going to get it done. So I know everybody says Hillsborough doesn't have any money. That's not true. It's not just public money that you have. There's at Hillsborough, there's developer money available, and that's how they're getting the thing done in Miami. That's how they got it done in Atlanta. That's how they got it done in Texas. Same thing could be done in Tampa with everybody paying a portion of it. And there's, with all that's going in down there, there's so much money that's coming in, so many more projects that are, by the time that stadium is built, we may already double the amount of beds that are rooms and beds in downtown Tampa that we have currently. Can you imagine that? And I don't know what the number is. It's in the hundreds of thousands of now, but you have that many people just living right downtown, not to mention the surrounding areas. You're going to have 2.4, 2.5 million people within 30-minute drive, as opposed to 600,000. And people still say, I still don't know if it's going to work. Do the number, and all these new people moving in. If there's a kick-ass baseball stadium downtown with all the stuff to do around it, you don't think more people are going to games? Come on.
Let alone the people that are out in the suburbs where I am,
right?
In the Brandon area, the Valrico, Fishhawk, Riverview, that's booming right now. By the way, all these people have
we're going to build it in a failed location that has no room for growth in downtown St. Petersburg.
Ugh.
Just absolutely moronic. Yeah. Mayor. Please, Mayor Walsh, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not. Build a convention center. You'll get a lot more mileage out of it, better for your constituents, and the baseball stadium doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, and I'm just before we sign off here, I know Jordan's saying 35,000 a night there, hands down. 20,000 show up for the weeknight for Bolts. I know it's a little different because there's less Lightning games, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't think 35,000. I think that number might be a little ambitious, and I don't think they're going to build something that's that big.
No.
But if you can get me 22 to 26,000 on average, if you can get me in that sweet spot, I consider that a success.
They average, when they were actually marketing the product, they averaged about 18,000 in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
And so you triple the population within 30 minutes, and you're not going to get to 22 on an average. Come on. And that's all you need to do.
And if you get to that,
need to average 22,000, you're fine.
If you get to that, assuming you built something, it's like 28,000 max, it's going to look so much better on TV in any way.
Absolutely. And there'll be a much better vibe.
Yeah.
It's what baseball is meant to do. And, it's a no-brainer. And I think you follow the money. That's where it's going to go. All right. Our thanks to Scott Reynolds. Great segment with him today on Brady's future, the Bucs' future, what happened this season. So if you missed that, go back and check it out in our 10:30 to 11 o'clock segment. You can always go back and listen to the show. Download the app, FanStream Sports, all one word. You just tap that app. You can listen to the show anyplace, anywhere. FanStreamSports.com, our YouTube page, and, of course, Facebook and Twitter as well. It's always there for you. Thanks so much for joining us. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Bolts.